do this for better supply and demand trading. So if you want to get good at supply and demand, guys, the first thing you need to do is get some sleep. Like really, like some of you guys, 3 hours of sleep, 4 hours of sleep, maybe you drink some coffee or whatever case is, but we all know that sleep is a necessary thing. We have to get sleep, guys. So you can't deny that. Get enough sleep so you can actually perform at a high level. This is a professional field. We want to make sure that we are on point every single day mentally, and one way to do that is to get enough sleep. Now, next thing you want to do to actually trade better when it comes to supply and demand, you want to prepare yourself every single day to actually fight your bad habits, because if you dismiss your bad habits, you're never going to be a good supply and demand trader, period. So we have to fix our bad habits, right? So you should have a list of the bad habits that maybe you did last week, whatever the case is. So this week, let's say we're going to focus on FOMO, because we know that last week, for some reason, you were chasing like crazy. All right, so this week, I'm going to trade with a purpose, right? A lot of you guys just want to trade to make money. A lot of you guys want to trade just because the market is open. No, trade with a purpose. Trade to change your behavior, all right? It's not all about the trading sometimes. Sometimes it's just, your behavior. Change your behavior. So let's trade with a purpose. Today, right, I have to focus on not chasing trades. Okay, stick to the plan. Now, the next thing you want to do, you want to focus on fresh zones, right? So what's the best time frame to focus on when it comes to supply and demand zones? Doesn't matter, guys. There's no such thing as best. You could use the 1 hour, you could use the 4 hour, you could use the 5 minute, the 15 minute. Doesn't matter, okay? What fits you, right? That's why back testing is so good, because you could see, all right, this fit me. Now, me personally, I like to use the 5 minute chart. And go from there, but it doesn't matter. So let's go to the chart real quick. So right here, we have the 4 hour chart. We have a zone. So let's say that we didn't see that information yet, and we just saw this move right here, right? So this is a fresh zone, meaning that the market didn't come to that zone yet. So we are looking for these fresh zones every single day, and we're looking for the market to come to that zone the first time, because we actually want to take trades at that zone when it's fresh, because that's when most likely the buyers are probably going to try to defend that level. So we want fresh zones, not zones that been tapped in already. So right here, we see the market come to the zone and we see a nice reaction, right? Again, it doesn't matter what time frame you're using. You can use the 4 hour chart, the 5 minute chart, the 1 hour chart, doesn't matter. Now, after you see your fresh zones, the next thing you want to do is you want to draw your zone. So there's different ways to draw your zones, but make sure that you draw your zones the same pretty much all the time, all right? So let me show you how I draw my zones. All right, so this is a supply zone right here, right? And basically it's a nice sharp move to the downside, right? Nothing really to the left, right? So to me, I would just use that candle that started the move, right? The beginning of that candle right here. And I'm looking for the market to come back to that candle, right? This is a nice, simple way to draw supply or demand. I'm gonna show you guys another example where I would probably draw the zone a little bit bigger. So let me show you guys real quick. All right, so right here, guys, we have a demand right here, right? So you could definitely use this level right here, which is cool, right? But also you have to look to the left, right? And look what we have here. We have 1, 2, right? This nice support area right here that's holding this up too. So you can also start your zone right here, because sometimes it might not even get down to here because we have the support zone right here, and most likely price might react to that level. So it all depends on if you have information to the left that could actually, act as some type of support or resistance that's near your zone. Sometimes I would actually include that with my zone, but for the most part, you want to start with the candle that started the whole move. Now, after you find your fresh zones, after you mark up your zones, right, the next thing you need to do is see what direction the market is going for the day, and go for there, right? And then once you find the direction, you have to look at the market overall to see if you even want to trade, okay? Does the market look clear? Does it look sloppy? Does it look, slow, or whatever the case is? Find out, do you even want to trade that day? If not, maybe wait for the next day, okay? But see if you really want to trade that day. Let me give you a good example. All right, so, if I'm looking at a market like this, that's choppy, do I really want to trade a market like that? Probably not. So it all depends on what the market is doing that day. Do you even want to trade? Do you even want to put on capital? Do you even want to just use your mental capital? Because even if you do put on capital, it might stress you out. So figure those things out before you even take the trade. That will definitely make you a better supply and demand trader, because you just don't want to take every single trade just because the market is open. Now, let's say that you do actually see an opportunity, like example right here. So right here, guys, the market was going up and all of a sudden we went straight down. We cracking lows right here. Okay, so to me, when I saw this right here, we cracking lows, nice selling pressure. It's a possibility that we could come back to reject this. Now, we do have support right here that's holding up this market, so you still have to be aware of that. But when I was in the market, I was looking at the market to come to the supply zone. Now, notice how it didn't really go exactly to the supply zone, because I drew my supply zone right here, but it didn't really touch it, but it was close enough. Okay, sometimes it will get to your zone close enough, right? And it probably won't tap your zone, and it will, just go down or go up depending on, the market direction. But right here, what I saw was the market was selling off right here, right? And we tried to hit that zone one more time, and we had this crazy rejection right here. That was a sign for me to actually say, all right, let me get in. And not only that, let me show you the 1 minute chart. Now, I'm not telling you to look at the 1 minute chart because, a lot of you guys probably can't even trade, looking at the 1 minute chart. But I just saw this wedge pattern right here too. So I said, okay, the 5 minutes looking good. The 1 minute is doing some type of wedge. We have this nice rejection right here. I'm going to go short. Okay. Now, I went short right here because I saw a reaction, and I was going for a big winner because I'm looking for, the market to just basically do a reversal, right? So a lot of times my reversals, I look for a little bit bigger targets. But anyway, it happened so quick that I really didn't get the size that I wanted, but it is what it is. And let me show you guys a quick clip of this. So right here, guys, you see that I'm in the market and the market is pretty much going my way. It happened so quick that I didn't really get the size that I want. But anyway, it's pulling back to this key level right here. And I'm saying to myself, most likely they're going to probably reject that level. And I wanted to add just a little bit more, nothing too crazy, a little bit more to the winner. And I'm looking for, a continuation to the downside. So let me fast forward this. All right. So right here, you see me pretty much about to get out. Everything looked good. All right. And if you look to the left, I'm up $2,529.50. Right. Now, let me just break things down real quick, because again, we're talking about, how to be a better supply and demand trader. The next thing you want to do is when the market comes to your zone, right, you want to wait for some type of confirmation, right? Look for some type of reaction. Now, you could go straight into the zone, but I think that that's only for certain times. I don't think you should try to do that every single time unless you have a certain setup that you see every single time, and you say, all right, that's when I'm going to go in without confirmation. Again, there's nothing wrong with going in without confirmation, but I believe that, especially if you are new to supply and demand, I noticed that a lot of new traders, they just take every single supply and demand, level that they see. And honestly, that's not a good thing. And if you don't even wait for confirmation, you take it every single zone, most likely you're going to get wiped out. So once you get good at supply and demand, then probably you could say, all right, I probably don't want to wait for confirmation. Let me just throw a limit order. You could do that. But a lot of traders look for confirmation and some traders don't look for confirmation. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's all about what fits you. But in the beginning, you definitely should look for confirmation. I like to look for confirmation. So that's what I did. I looked for confirmation, looked for a reaction right at the level. You saw that reaction and I went short. The next thing you want to do to actually get better at supply and demand is you want to be okay about getting stopped out, right? So let's say you look for a reaction, you got stopped out. Guess what? It's not the end of the world, right? We all go through that. But here's the thing, you can always re-enter, okay? A lot of people will get stopped out, freeze up, or get mad, but they don't look for another opportunity. Let me see if I can show you guys a good example of that. All right, so let's say that, you're looking at the supply zone right here, and you went short right here. Let's say you put your stop loss above the candle and you got stopped out. Well, notice how you got stopped out, but it didn't go that far, right? It just went up a little bit, stopped you out a little bit, and then went right back down. So, in those cases, guys, you could try again. And a lot of times, you would get your money back plus some. So don't be scared to re-enter, especially if it looks like a great opportunity. Sometimes you might have to try, once or twice for a good opportunity. It's just what it is. Now, what happens if the market doesn't go to your zone, right? So right here, we have a nice demand level right here, and we're waiting for the market to come to that demand level, and it never came to that demand level. What happens? Nothing. Okay, you wait for the next day, or you look for other opportunities on other markets, right? So it just, just skip it. Just what it is. It's part of the game. Sometimes it won't never come back to your supply and demand zone. It's just what it is. Now, another thing you can actually do to make yourself a better supply and demand trader is you can actually combine levels with your supply and demand. So a good example is, let me show you. So right here, guys, we have a supply zone right here. And if you look to the left, let's see if we have anything that's matching up to this zone. So we have resistance right here. Definitely you can't deny that this resistance because we had 1, 2, 3. So you know that this is a key area right here. And then we have supply lining up with that resistance. So to me, when you see that, you have two things that are together. To me, that could be a high quality setup because you have two levels that are coming together, and most likely those levels are going to hold now. So that's another thing you can do to actually make yourself a better supply and demand trader is combining levels like support and resistance. If you want to use fib levels, if you want to use supply and demand, or the daily high or the daily low, so many things you can actually combine with supply and demand. And if it lines up with that zone, most likely that zone is probably going to hold up. All right, so that's pretty much it, guys. Make sure you do these things in order to be a better supply and demand trader. Also have a checklist because you don't want to rely on your memory. So having a checklist every single day is definitely a good thing to do. That's all I have for you guys. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you want to learn more on how I trade. Link is below in the description. Thanks a lot for your time, and please have a great day.